me see if we are connected over here. Oh yeah, I need to also take a screenshot because I believe we have about over 200, 248 people set up reminder of today's event. That's a good number. Okay, click on start and see if we are connected. Start live over here. Yes, we're connected, so I'm going to play that countdown video over here. Hello everyone. Welcome to today's live streaming. This is Moonlight, your host of today's program. We are really appreciate everyone for joining this event, and our AMA title is called Outlook of L1 and L2 Ecosystem in 2023. We're live streaming across different social media platforms, including but not limited to Binance Live, YouTube Live, Twitch Live, and Twitter Live. Wherever you are watching us, we appreciate you are joining today's event, and we wish this event a complete success. We also wanted to let everyone know that during today's live streaming, there is a lot of prizes that we are giving away. First is that we are going to drop a lot of crypto boxes to our Binance Live viewers, and then Dapple S, they also have a campaign. I would like to share my link later the during today's live streaming. Later, I will share the YouTube. Oh, sorry, it's actually over here. Yes, I found it. Awesome. Yeah. So during today's live streaming, we will also continue to encourage everyone to go to your Twitter app and then search for Dapple S, DAPPOS, Dapple S. And then you are going to find their official Twitter handle. You will see this event poster. Be sure to help us follow, tag 3 friends, retweet, and join today's live stream session. Then leave your questions under this poster, okay, in the comments. So you might be selected as one of the 5 winners to share this 100 BUSD. Thank you so much, everyone, for your help. And next, we are going to bring our microphone to our guest speakers. First, we would like to welcome Taylor from Dapple S to introduce yourself and your role at the project. Thank you.
All right, so hello everyone. Yeah, first and foremost, my name is Taylor, and I am the head of community at Dapple S. So that's a little bit about me.
Welcome, Taylor, to today's live streaming session. And following, we would also like to welcome Janice from ZetaChain to introduce yourself and your role. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me. My name is Dennis. I'm head of developer experience at ZetaChain. ZetaChain is an EVM-compatible L1 that lets users build interoperable dApps that span every chain, including Bitcoin.
Welcome. And thirdly, we would like to welcome Cheyenne. Did I pronounce your name correctly from the Sui Foundation?
Yeah, Cheyenne. So my name is Cheyenne, and I'm a developer relations engineer here with the Sui Foundation. Sui is a new layer 1 blockchain. We went on mainnet 2 days ago, actually, and yeah, we're one of the main L1s that use the Move programming language.
Wow, that's perfect. Thank you so much, and welcome, everyone. I see that so far we already have over 1,200 views across different social media platforms. Welcome everyone from around the world. And next we are going to go to our topic today over here. So first question is going to Cheyenne. We know that Sui has earned significant attention, right, from the larger crypto industry because you have a lot of innovative approach to DeFi and the imminent mainnet launch. So could you please also let us learn more about what are the best features we can look forward in the Sui network? Thank you.
Yeah, so I would say, like, from the very beginning, Sui takes a very different look at what a L1 should do with respect to how it views assets. So, for example, everything on Sui is an object. If you have a coin, if you have an NFT, if you're interacting with any myriad of DeFi protocols, anytime you're interacting with something, you're interacting with an object. And an object, best way to think of an object is that it's supposed to emulate a real world asset. So like the best way to think about it is to draw an example to Ethereum. So in Ethereum, for example, if you want to purchase a if you want to purchase like a token, it's like a token on the blockchain, right? Like an ERC 721 token. You need to interact with the blockchain. You need to interact with the smart contract anytime you want to actually purchase the token, anytime you want to transfer the token. And because the token lives inside of the smart contract it was originated in, it's hard to really compose that token. It's hard to do anything with it. Instead, with Sui, we take the approach that, okay, maybe we should have a blockchain that takes assets at the first and foremost, right? Assets are now a first class concept. So if you want to purchase a token, for example, on Sui, you'll interact with the smart contract once, you'll mint that token and you'll transfer it to your address. But then that token belongs to you and you can do whatever you want with it. So one of the biggest things that Sui does differently from traditional blockchains is that it has an asset oriented approach. The next biggest thing that Sui does is that Sui has dynamic fields. So if you want to program a game, for example, right? Let's say you want to program like an RPG game, like where you're a hero and you're slaying monsters. It's hard to, if you want to do it all on chain. So if you want your hero to be an object, if you want like that sword to be an object, what you would do is that you would literally model the hero as like an object, an NFT, and you'll be able to equip and dequip other NFTs on the fly. So this is accomplished by the use of dynamic fields. So as the name suggests, if you're programming a standard like block on like another L1, you would have static fields, right? They have to be programmed at runtime. But with Sui, you can actually change these fields on the fly. So the use of dynamic fields enables very cool things like dynamic NFTs, for example. Like one project I'm talking to, they're building a game, right? And they have some off-chain oracle that connects to the weather. And if you have a sword in this game, the sword actually connects to the oracle and says, depending on the weather, the sword will change. So if it's like sunny out, it'll be like a fire sword. If it's like a thunderstorm out, it'll be like a lightning sword, stuff like that. So because you can dynamically change your NFTs, they're not static at runtime, you can do cool stuff like that. And last but not least, I would say the third biggest thing that Sui really does differently from other L1s that's like worth checking out is that Sui has programmable transaction blocks. So for example, in a standard blockchain, let's say I want to pay Taylor and Dennis one Sui, right? I would have to call that pay Sui function 2 times. So if I want to send them both one Sui in gas, just for the sake of being easy, the gas is like 0.01 Sui. I would spend a total of 2.02 Sui, right? But with programmable transaction blocks, what you can do is you can actually batch the transactions together. So I can send Taylor and Dennis one Sui and only have to pay 0.01 Sui. So obviously in this case, you only save 0.01 Sui. But if you're a complex DeFi protocol and you have thousands of transactions every day, batching them together can save gas really quickly.
Thank you so much, Cheyenne, for sharing all the features within the Sui blockchain. And also, next question, we would like to go to Dennis, talking about the ZetaChain. So we know that ZetaChain recently reached a milestone of 500 DApp contracts on its testnet. Could you please explain to our audience how you plan to reach your goal of connecting everything? Thank you.
Sure. It's actually 1100 now. And ZetaChain's goal of connecting everything is going to be achieved through omni-chain contracts, which is a tool for developers that allows you to build a contract and deploy it once, and it becomes interoperable with all the connected chains. And ZetaChain also supports message passing as well if you want to migrate existing contracts and make them, augment them to make them interoperable. So what ZetaChain is going to do to grow and to increase its ecosystem is it's going to expand blockchain support that are connected to ZetaChain. So right now it's Ethereum, Bitcoin, BSC, Polygon, and some others, but the goal is to connect as many blockchains as possible, both with smart contract support and the ones that don't have smart contracts at all. We're going to be focusing on building stronger developer community by making more tutorials, engaging in events, and building tools. And we also recently launched a grants program that offers support for projects that want to build dApps that are interoperable from the very beginning. So follow us on Twitter and read more on the website about the grants program, apply, and build your dApp on ZetaChain. We're also partnering with projects. Just last week, ZetaChain partnered with 7 new projects, including Navox, AssetPay, Fox Wallet, Anchor, and among others. So yeah, long story short, the way ZetaChain allows developers to build interoperable applications is by acting in a way as a hub between all the connected blockchains and offering the tools for developers to write a contract that has connectivity to other blockchains. So it's very easy to send tokens between chains, and it's all happening on chain, right? So ZetaChain becomes this kind of intermediary, but it's also, of course, decentralized. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Dennis, for sharing all the information with us. And yeah, connecting everything is pretty cool. Later, we are going to learn more from Dennis about ZetaChain as well. Next, we would like to bring the question to Taylor from DevOS. We know that mass adoption infrastructure will be very important in the DeFi story of this year, right? Could you please share to us how DevOS account abstraction and wallet work? Thank you.
Yeah, so first I'm going to give a little introduction on DAppOS because I kind of skipped over that in my personal introduction. But so DAppOS is a Web3 operating protocol that makes dApps as user-friendly as Web2. So it basically gives the ability for anyone to access and use dApps without, a complicated workflow or even having a, vast crypto knowledge. We want to make it simple and easy. And to get to the question, mass adoption infrastructure will be very important. Let's see, DAppOS mainly consists of 2 parts. There's the DAppOS account, which is an implementation of account abstraction, aka your virtual wallet. That makes it possible for the automatic workflow execution and flexible recovery methods. So like I said, kind of simplifying everything, making it easier. And there's also the DAppOS network, which is a decentralized network to help users use their DAppOS accounts. And to get technical, I'm going to explain, the typical flow that you need to follow. So first of all, the user creates an order by making a signature to confirm the whole workflow, which includes, chain interactions on one or more chains, bridging those assets and fees for using the DAppOS network. Secondly, DAppOS can send the order to DAppOS network through JSON RPC. And following that step, the DAppOS network will delegate the order to one of the permissionless nodes and guarantee either the order is well executed or that the node will compensate for the user's loss. And then finally, to finish off everything, motivated by this reward, the picked node will then execute the whole workflow, including bridging assets and on-chain transactions. So yeah, I know it's pretty technical, but that's a quick rundown of how DAppOS works. But I guess all in all, we want to make the user experience easier for everyone. So that brings more people into the Web3 space. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, really. And yes, bringing more people to the Web3 space is definitely our goal. Once again, I would like to share to everyone, friends, if you have not, go to Twitter, your Twitter account. We are giving away more prizes to our participants. If you could complete the tasks, very easy, right? Follow all the guest speakers project, see I'm following, right? And Sweet Network, as well as Zeta blockchain. And I think, yeah, Twitter sometimes has some bugs, right? Recently, even though I'm already following, but it doesn't show. But anyways, and also retweet and join in today's live streaming session. Also, you could post your question, right, in the comments. Then you might be selected as one of the winners. And I also wanted to show everyone, yeah, the Sweet Network's official Twitter handle, right? Click on following. Also our ZetaChain official Twitter handle as well as, yeah, click on follow. And then you can also go to their link 3 to take a look and learn more about these great projects. So we not just watch today's AMA session, right? But we are going to learn more from each of the projects and learn about what they did in the past, and also learn about their outlook for this year in our live streaming session as well. And let's come back to our next round of questions over here. Okay, this is the discussion part. The general, perception has been that layer 1 blockchains enjoy better security at the expense of less scalability. With the latest interest in layer 1 space, has scalability in layer 1 improved? We want to hear from each of our guest speakers' opinion, and we will follow our previous order. Okay, so we're going to starting from Cheyenne first, from the Sweet Network. Thank you.
Hey, so yeah, I definitely think that, as time has moved forward, we've gone through like several different evolutions of like blockchains, right? We first started with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was like the first blockchain that didn't really do anything. Then you went on to Ethereum. Ethereum was like the biggest like paradigm shift because it was like, hey, we have this electronic money, and now we can create programmable assets on it, right? And then following Ethereum, there have been a whole host of L1s, each doing something a little differently, maybe very differently, right? It's really hard to say that, you can't really compare Cosmos and Solana because they are, even though they're both L1s, they really take a really different approach. So with Swee's approach, we hope to be the first, if not one of the first blockchains to really scale, to solve like the scalability trilemma, right? The scalability trilemma states that you can't have a blockchain that's all three: decentralized, fast, and secure, right? It's always going to be only two. You can't have the third. But with Sui, because Sui has been designed from the ground up to really not be a traditional block. It's not a blockchain. It's a DAG, right? So because Sui does take such a drastic approach, and it has a very different consensus mechanism with respect to how it handles transactions, we were hoping that Sui will be the first blockchain to solve the trilemma. So for example, one of the things that Sui does differently from other blockchains, again, is that it splits up transactions into different types. So like I was talking about earlier, if you have an NFT or an NFT that's owned by you and you want to send it to someone, that type of transaction is what is known as a simple transaction and is able to bypass the consensus mechanism altogether, because the state suggests that, okay, because this is just one object transferring hands, it doesn't need to be subject to total ordering, what is known as every single transaction waiting in the same line. And then the only time a transaction has to go through consensus is when it's a complex transaction. A complex transaction is when it touches a shared object. And a shared object is essentially just an object that anybody can access. So because Sui has this designation between owned objects and shared objects, because Sui has this object-centric approach, because we can have dynamic fields, because we really are like building a blockchain from the ground up, we're hoping, like I said, to be the first blockchain that really gets everything right and is able to actually be the first like enterprise level solution. So if you're a big company and you want to use a blockchain, we're hoping that Sui will be it. If you're a game developer and your game requires how many like thousands of transactions per second, we're hoping that we'll be able to do it just because of the way that we view objects and assets differently from other L1s.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Cheyenne. Yes, I have been taking notes while listening to each of our guest speakers. Sharing, and we will later also make this some keynotes and share with our audience, and then they could watch the replay over again as well. And next, we are going to bring the same question to Dennis from ZetaChain to share your opinion. Has scalability in layer one improved? What do you think? Thank you.
Yeah, so I really like this idea that like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then we saw like a Cambrian explosion of different blockchains and consensus engines and architectures being used to scale blockchains. So I think the one of the biggest kind of improvements in scaling is the idea of application-specific blockchains. I think it's a very interesting idea that has proven to work. So, for example, the Cosmos ecosystem has now over 50 blockchains which are interconnected, and users can freely move assets and make calls between blockchains. And you can create one with Cosmos SDK very easily and launch it with a set of validators. So that's a very different approach, in my opinion, to scaling. So instead of taking a blockchain and making sure that it can process as much data as possible, as many transactions as needed, you kind of scale horizontally, and each blockchain can be pretty small and can serve only one application, for example, or it can be a smart contract chain. It's really up to you what you want to do. But the idea is that you kind of split the whole playing field and into different parts, and each blockchain is kind of fine-tuned to do a specific thing, right? So if you need throughput, that's what your blockchain can focus on. If you need security, if you need proof of authority, that's what you can do. And the killer feature of this architecture is, of course, that they're all interconnected with each other, but not only with each other, but also to other ecosystems as well. So, for example, Avalanche is a project in the Avalanche ecosystem is building a blockchain that is IBC compatible, so it will be connected. Same with Polkadot, a project. I think Composable is working on a substrate palette that will implement IBC, which will effectively connect Cosmos to Polkadot, and other ecosystems will be connected as well. And I think this kind of internet-like idea of scaling is very powerful. And of course, the chains that don't have IBC support, like Bitcoin, can be connected through ZetaChain, which is also built with Cosmos tech. And very interesting capabilities emerge from this when you kind of have different protocols of connecting blockchains. But for the users, of course, it's going to be very seamless. Right now, all of this is exposed because that's how tech is being developed very iteratively, and you kind of see experiments, and some things work, some things don't. I think like that's one of my favorite ideas recently, right? The applications to blockchain idea. Of course, blockchains are experimenting with consensus engines, specifically, like there are many Byzantine fault-tolerant engines like Comet BFT, Tendermint Core, and also novel consensus engines like Avalanche that I mentioned earlier. So yeah, I guess horizontal scaling through interoperable app-specific chains and new consensus engines is kind of what I think is very cool in this area.
Brilliant, yes, and definitely pretty cool. And that was shared from Dennis, the head of developer experience at ZetaChain. I also wanted to share our screen to all the audience. Look, today's AMA session is being featured at the Binance Live front page. So we really, really appreciate everyone's support. And so far, we have over 1,800 views. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us from over the world. We once again wanted to friendly remind everyone today we're also giving away 100 BUSD to our attendants. Right? If you could follow all of our guest speakers project, Apple S Suite Network and Zeta Blog, as well as help us to retweet, take 3 friends, and leave your comments, leave your question in the comments through 5 friends. Okay, 5 audience will be selected to win this prize. Also, you can go to Sui Networks, their Twitter handle, as well as ZetaChain's Twitter handle to learn more about their projects. And we're coming back to Taylor from S also present you the same question. Has scalability in layer 1 improved? What do you think?
Awesome. Yeah. So I guess to agree with Cheyenne and Dennis, and with everyone, I think there has been significant improvements in scalability. The more you look into the space, the more you becoming more aware of new projects. I think that we can see that, as we know, layer 1 blockchains are designed to provide, the high security and decentralization. But with that, I guess the trade-off would be that there traditionally is, limited scalability. However, I believe that newer layer 1 blockchains have been made with scalability specifically in mind, using innovative approaches such as sharding, sidechains, and even more efficient consensus machines or mechanisms. So overall, although it being true that layer 1 blockchains still prioritize security and decentralization, because those are very important things for people, they almost prioritize that over scalability. I think the recent entrants in the space are showing that it's possible to achieve that high scalability without having to lose those key attributes. So I think it's a good trade-off, and I think we're moving towards being able to have more scalability without losing out on, for example, the security. And so I think that's a quick take on what I believe. So.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Taylor. Also, we are going to go to our next question. Before that, I actually wanted to quickly share while we were learning from our guest speakers, I also go to their websites as well. And friends, I want to teach all of our audience how to find our guest speakers projects official web pages. If you could just go to their Twitter, because that probably is the easiest way for us to find them, right? And then scroll up to the very top, you're going to find Linktree. Right? Click on the Linktree. It will take you to all the websites, right, of S. And then I also went to Sweet Network, right? And then I also went to ZetaChain. I also have the link 3 over here. And then you can see their website, their Zeta Labs and Zeta Scan Explorer, and also the documentations. There are a lot of things for us to explore. So friends, I highly recommend everyone not just come to watch this single AMA session, but also do deeper research on each of the projects, because they are amazing. After this session, yes, I have a lot of things to do now. Okay, I plan to go to each of the projects' websites and learn more about them. And next, go to our next round. We have seen many new layer 2 scaling solutions in the past year in 2022, and which ones are worth taking a deeper look at and why. First, we would like to bring this question to Cheyenne, the developer relations engineer at Sweet Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you. So of all the scaling solutions that exist, I would say the one I find most interesting from like most like technical side would have to be like the zero knowledge solutions. So again, I don't have like the biggest math background. I'm not too I didn't like study cryptography in university, but I think it's very interesting when I do go into the documentation, like read what some of the cryptologists and like mathematicians that are building ZK tech are building. I think it's super interesting. And I think that ZK tech, apart from scaling solutions, can also, since they can also be used for privacy as well, I think will be like very useful not for just the layer 2s that want to scale, but for layer 1s that want to add like privacy as like a base layer into their L1. So I think like with the proliferation of zero knowledge technology, be it for scalability or privacy, I think I would assume that like the research is in tandem with another, right? If ZK technology is growing, then it'll help like many different facets of L1s. And I think that, yeah, I think ZK technology would have to be my most the one I'm most interested in. I would really like to see how ZK technology can be used to scale L2s, as well as like there's many as well as like scaling L1s even potentially without having to become its own chain, by being able to like batch transactions together, for example, that will be able to help scale L1s as well. So I would say, yeah, zero knowledge technology.
Zero knowledge technology. Awesome. I'm going to take a note of that. And how about Dennis? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, ZK rollups have been popular last year, and but I also wanted to kind of look into less conventional ways of essentially scaling blockchains, but not really scaling per se, but instead tapping into security of existing blockchains. So, for example, a project called Babylon Chain, they are offering a service to other blockchains to do timestamping on Bitcoin, which I found very interesting. So instead of necessarily inheriting security from another blockchain or increasing validator sets or kind of improving security of your chain, you can actually get this as a service and send succinct, verifiable checkpoints to Bitcoin. They're very small, but essentially, as long as Bitcoin is secure, your chain kind of inherits that security. So every couple of hundred blocks, you send these checkpoints. So I find that idea very interesting, and especially that this is kind of offered as a service to other blockchains, which integrates very nicely in the idea of application-specific blockchains, right? That do one thing very well and can offer these services to other blockchains. Another idea that is well, definitely scaling is what Celestia is doing. They're acting as a data availability layer, so a blockchain that kind of stores the data for other blockchains that act as rollups. So instead of having independent ledgers for every rollup, which is a blockchain, they kind of hand off the data part of their blockchain to Celestia, but Celestia doesn't really know about about the logic, right? So it doesn't execute the logic; it just keeps the data for other blockchains. So I don't know. These are the few projects that caught my attention recently. I found these ideas to be very interesting, and yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much for sharing, Dennis. And friends, well, we are talking about the outlook of Layer 1 and Layer 2 ecosystem in 2023. So if you just joined us, today we're going to take a deep look, right, about this ecosystem. It's pretty cool. I have been learning a lot. And previously, we have Cheyenne, the developer relations engineer from Sweet Network, and Dennis. He's the head of developer experience from ZetaChain to share their views. And now we're going to bring the question to Taylor. He's the head of community at S. Thank you.
Yeah, so there's several different ones that are worth taking a deeper look at, but I think this depends more or less on your specific use case and requirements. First of all, I think optimistic rollups is worth checking out, mainly because I think this is a project that's at the forefront of everything. When you look at people like to base things off numbers, so a big thing for me is that optimistic rollups offers up to 100 times scalability improvements. And I do believe this number, we will see it grow, with the future introduction of Ethereum sharding. So yeah, with optimistic rollups, it's also been shown to be effective at improving scalability. The apps that involve frequent and small transactions, such as gaming and the prediction markets. And along with what Cheyenne was saying, he mentioned ZK rollups or ZK technology. If you combine the benefits of optimistic rollups and ZK rollups, you kind of get this new one called Validium. So with Validium, I believe you kind of get best of both worlds, using a combination of both ZK rollups and optimistic rollups to achieve that high scalability and privacy. And so Validium is especially effective for dApps that require both scalability and privacy. So I think in combination with optimistic rollups and ZK rollups, I guess my third input would be Validium, because like I said, you kind of get the best of both worlds. So that's what I believe is new in the space, and that's what I'm interested in.
Thank you so much, Taylor, for sharing your views on which ones are worth taking deeper look at the layer 2 scaling solutions from the year of 2022. And before we go to our next questions, friends, for our newcomers, we wanted to once again friendly remind everyone that we are giving away more prizes, not just the crypto box airdrops right at our finest life. We are also giving away 100 USD for 5 friends who could go to our DevOps official Twitter handle and find this poster. Help us to follow all 3 projects, DevOps, Sweet Network, and Zeta Blockchain, as well as retweet, tag 3 friends, and post your question. 5 questions from the comment will be selected to share this prize. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Next, we are going to go to our last round over here. The last question is, which interesting developments do you expect to take place in layer 1 and layer 2 this year or next year? Thank you. We are going to bring the question to Cheyenne, the developer relation engineer at Sweet Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, I would say the most interesting thing that I think can happen for the entire ecosystem is increasing user adoption, right? So I feel like right now, up until now, blockchain hasn't really been focusing on user acquisition as much as we as an industry should have been. It's been more or less like developing cool technology, creating like interesting dApps. They are pretty interesting dApps, but there hasn't been like that Web 2 mindset of how do we get customers, how do we like retain customers. So again, like with like the whole like theme of this talk so far, how can blockchains become better, how can blockchains scale? Hopefully that as time goes on, the entire industry as a whole begins to grow, begins to have like faster blockchains, more scalable blockchains, such that user acquisition in the entire industry begins to grow, right? Because let's say if blockchains are able to become faster and cheaper, more dApps are able to create more interesting products that don't you don't need to wait like 10 minutes for a transaction to process, or you don't need to pay $100 in gas for you to do something simple, right? So I believe that as blockchains, both L1s and L2s begin to scale, it's inevitable that they will, right? Time will tell that, as time progresses, our technology will only become better, and we'll be able to reach like that sweet spot where it's profitable for businesses to create dApps on blockchains, and it's cheap enough such that users will be able to also interact with them while not having to spend, ideally, one, not even know that they're interacting with a blockchain, right? It should be the UX, the UI should be as seamless as the current like Web 2 products, and that when they do interact with it, it's not that expensive, So if you can, like, gas abstraction is one thing, where you can abstract gas away from the end user. Other things are just in general improvements to scalability, such that dApp developers can create more robust dApps that L1s will be able to handle that load. So yeah, I think being able to be a part of this industry at that inflection point before things really take off, because I think we're at that point right now. Because like, if you guys haven't keeping up with, like, kind of random, right? But like, AI has kind of like, I think Dennis, you mentioned this term Cambrian explosion. AI has like hit that inflection point right now. Like, I see on YouTube, there's so many like AI generated like music videos of like other like artists. I'm like, wow, where was this like just a few months ago? So I think technology really has that like exponential effect, and I definitely see this applying in our industry no less than any others.
Perfect. Yes, and a lot of people has also been talking about the lower gas fees, right, and faster transactions. Especially recently, the gas fees like way too high in the Ethereum blockchain, and that prevent a lot of people wanted to trade. So those are definitely important key points. We would like to ask Dennis from ZetaChain the same question as well. What would you expect to take place in there one, there two in the next year that you could see a lot of interesting development? Thank you.
Yeah, I completely agree that user acquisition is going to be very important. Always has been important, and for that you need better UX, you need more abstraction for end users. And I think the way that can happen is through interoperability and through seamless integration between chains. Users shouldn't really think about which chains they're working on. They should just see all the assets they have and send assets, use dApps in between chains without really thinking about that they're doing cross-chain transactions. So I think more interoperability, more seamless integration is the key. And maybe the next factor, the next thing that I'm looking into is decentralization. Like if you're scaling through ZK rollups or other technology, like you will probably at some point have to decentralize your sequencers and make sure that there is no centralized bottleneck for your scaling solution. If you're doing cross-chain message passing, you probably want to do that on chain instead of relying on kind of more off-chain programs that are centralized and act as a point of potentially point of failure. Because yeah, the decentralization of your system versus like the centralization of the least centralized part of the system, right? So you need to make sure that decentralization kind of goes through the whole stack. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes, decentralization is a key to our Web3 space as well. And next, we would like to ask Dater from Dapple ask the question: which interesting development do you expect to take place in layer one, layer two in this year and next year? Thank you.
All right. Yeah. So to agree with Cheyenne and Dennis, I do believe that the increased adoption of layer one blockchains in enterprise applications is going to be the most important, and that's kind of where dAppOS comes in, making the dApps as user friendly as Web 2. So making everything a lot easier, making it less scary for people to enter the space. And I think another thing that would like to take into consideration for layer 1 would be the further advancements in sharding technology. And in regards to layer 2, I think one thing to focus on would be advancements in privacy preserving technologies. So enhancing the security of privacy of layer 2, because with the growth and new advancements of anything, privacy and security still remains very important. So I think we see, trying to bridge that gap between Web 2 and Web 3 by making everything seem easier, seeming less scary. And yeah, I think that's where we're headed in the layer 1 and layer 2 space.
Thank you very much for sharing your views, Taylor. Yes, privacy, security, and user-friendly, just like we are using Web2 products, right? Those are key points for us to bringing more people in the Web3 space. Also, really expect those could be seeing more improvement in those spots. And before we wrap up today's session, we would like to go over to each of our guest speakers. Would you like to share any additional information to our audience that you haven't had chance to talk about? Let's first go to Cheyenne from the Sweet Foundation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, so thank you everyone for coming here today. It was very fun to talk to Taylor and Dennis. And of course, we had the best moderator ever. So thank you everyone that made this such a nice event. And yeah, like I said, our mainnet is, I think right now, it's like 50 hours old. We launched, I think, 8 a.m. 2 days ago. So yeah, it's about like just a bit over 2 days now. And we're definitely looking forward to onboarding the next generation of dApp developers. So if you do have any questions, please reach out to me on Twitter after this. You can find my handle. Actually, I think I'll edit my handle here just to make it easier.
Would you like to share screen? Feel free to share screen. You can
actually. I don't think I even need. I can just edit my tagline here, right?
Sure. You can also add it to your headline. Yeah, and also wanted to let all of our guest speakers know, if you would like to share screen, share your project's websites or any posters to our audience, feel free to do that. So far, we have over 2,700 friends watching us from around.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I added my Twitter here at OXCheyenne. So if you do have any questions with regards to developing on Move, or you want to learn Move, you want to learn more about Sui, feel free to send me a DM or mention me, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you. But yeah, thank you so much again for the awesome event.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Okay, I found you. Okay, quickly click on following, and I'm going to share screen so everyone can see it. And all the guest speakers, please feel free to do that too, because I believe, our audience, they do have questions, right, about your projects, or guess what? We also have a lot of other project developers or builders across Web3 that they are watching these AMAs through different social media platforms, and later they might reach out to you to want to do more collaborations, right? Maybe another AMA together, or maybe other activities, right? So friends, feel free to share your Twitter handles to us. And next, we'd like to bring the microphone to Dennis, Head of Developer Experience at ZetaChain. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for inviting. It was a very interesting discussion. And just for anyone who wants to build kind of the next iteration of apps, please look into ZetaChain's documentation. We recently updated tutorials. It's now easier than ever to get started. You can just spend 30 minutes and you have a smart contract that can do cross-chain transactions, which is pretty cool. So take a look at the docs, and feel free to, of course, join Discord, ask questions there, or you can reach out to me directly on Twitter. Handle is on screen.
Would you like to share your Twitter handle to us, Dennis?
Yes, it's just my last name. It's in my description on the screen.
Okay. Oh, you already do that. Okay, at FADEEV. Quickly do a search, and also, friends, Well, I wanted to let everyone know how to find documentations of ZetaChain. Very easy. Remember, just go to ZetaChain's official Twitter handle, right? ZETA blockchain, Zeta blockchain. And then you can find link 3. And then click on link 3. It will take you to a lot of website and the docs over here, blog and white paper. You can find everything you need to learn about ZetaChain. Also, if you search, Dennis just shared that, right? Let me stop sharing the screen. At FADEEV. Okay, I'm also going to search out really quick. And then giving a follow, friends. Giving a follow. And also you could reach out to him. I'm changing screens. FADEEV. Okay, changing screen really quick. FADEEV. Quick search. Okay, find and follow. And I'm going to share screen to everyone as well so that all of our audience can give you a follow as well. Here we go. Okay, friends. Yeah, this is brilliant. This is the amazing, one of the amazing part in Web3, right? Because we are from different part of the world, but we are here all together with about 3,000 audience from over the world. And then we are learning from our experts and the guest speakers to talk about outlook of layer 1 and layer 2 ecosystem in 2023. And we are getting to know their projects. We're also getting to know them. And we can reach out to them directly to ask questions if you have any of them. And next, we would like to bring the microphone to Taylor, the head of community at Double S, to also share some additional information to wrap up today's session. Thank you.
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me. It's been awesome. I think there were some great questions today, kind of brain busters. I had to do some previous research. But yeah, I think overall I had a great time. Nice to meet everyone. Thanks for our moderator, and thanks for Cheyenne and Dennis. It was great to hear from you guys as well. But yeah, I think the main thing is, like I said with DAppOS, is making everything more user friendly. So if you're interested in the space, you want to get more into it, I would say look into our product, because everyone likes easy, right? Fast food is something that people love because it's quick, it's easy, it's not scary, you don't have to cook. So I think take a look. You're welcome to go into our Twitter, our Telegram, Discord. In regards to my Twitter, I'm relatively new to the space, so which means I've got a clean slate for as many questions as possible. So everyone flood my Twitter with questions. I'd be happy to get back to you. And yes, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for having me.
Brilliant. Thank you, everyone. And once again, I wanted to share, last but not least, friends, don't miss your chance to share at least 100 BUSD. And just like Taylor said, you can go to DAppOS websites and Discord, right? Telegram, Twitter to learn more about their project as well as don't forget to search Taylor's personal account. So it's TAY, Tay Harris, right? HARIS 007. Are you a fan of 007? Let me do a quick search, and then we are going to find our guest speaker and give him a follow. Okay, friends, don't forget to follow our guest speakers and appreciate them to spend their time and joining us over here. Okay, once again, we appreciate everyone, all the guest speakers and audience from around the world. And no matter where you're at, we wish you a great rest of the day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Meng Lai, the head of community at Ultiverse. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Guest speakers, feel free to click on the Leave Studio button and take a break or continue your day. Thank you. Bye. See you next time.
Thank you again. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. We're going to play our ending video.